Nah, I used to do that, but I don't spend too much time now around people who always be like, "Oh, God know my heart." People who do disturbing things or unpleasant things, but every time they are confronted about it or asked about it, they always come back with "God know my heart." Those are people who are comfortable and set and fixed in their ways, and they don't have no true interest in changing. These are the same people who will always be like, "God said come as you are," until you tell them, but that don't mean stay as you are. Now they looking at you crazy. A lot of times people be fixed because what they are doing are working for them. Even if they gain some kind of revelation or true confirmation of knowledge and wisdom and understanding that contradicts the life that they are living. If they are comfortable in that lifestyle, pleasurized by that lifestyle and making money from that lifestyle, they not finna change for God. That's why a lot of people say they religious, say they Christian, this, that, and the third, but in reality, they don't know nothing about the truth about God. They are believers of God because religion will make you a believer. But that don't mean you know the true knowledge and got the true understanding about God, because if you did, you would be holy. And you know, people like to argue with that thing because they like to debate with the fact that Jesus was unconditional within his love. But Jesus still confirmed and clarified the commandments of Moses, just like it also demonstrated and displayed the word of God as God in manifested flesh. So no matter how much people try to debate with God's law, universal law, the laws of the land, at the end of the day, we supposed to be living holy, especially those of us who are high-minded, or those of us who have a true understanding of the Most High God, regardless of what you call them. The Most High, God, Allah, the source, energy, Lord, whatever, man. We ain't finna go that deep, even though I personally understand all the different levels of the different functions of the Most High, which is why we are able to use the different terms depending on what we are depicting and what we are speaking about. But a lot of people get hung up on names. Some people get hung up on idolatry. A lot of people get hung up on false prophets and false messages to the point where it just totally pushes you away from even wanting to be holy or even declaring the true knowledge of God. People rather declare their own creations and their own foundations and put caps on all these things that already have been in existence before any of us touched it, because ain't nothing new under the sun. Not even God itself. God himself will tell you that it is all, God is all that ever was and all that ever will be. The Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. So whether we talking the 1600s or 2022, 2023, God is gonna always be God. And when I say God, I mean generator, operator, and destroyer. You feel me? So if God know your heart, God know you can change. God know you're capable of changing. God know that you're able to imagine and see yourself changing. But God also know you don't want to change. You're not even making no attempt, putting in no effort, showing no initiative. You feel me? You're not even leaving no room to admit that you are falling from grace or have fallen. You're not even willing to do none of that except for in your mind, your heart, and in your body, but you ain't expressing that on the physical. You ain't talking to your people about it. You ain't running to God about it, and if you will, you doing it when you by yourself. But the problem is you ain't matching it with no action. And this ain't no talk to tell nobody that they got to be a saint or they got to believe in this, that, and the third. This is not what that's about. But people love to use God as a crutch or when it's necessary or convenient for a point that they trying to make them prove. And if you're going to sit up here and say that God know your heart, then you also know how God truly wants you to live. So stop acting like just because God know your heart, that's a reason to justify your behavior, because it's not. That's the point that I'm trying to make. Because a lot of people get comfortable in their ways, but like to play on God and use scriptures to justify bullshit. And it comes a time where we got to stop doing that, because too many people are starting to mix and blend uncleanliness with cleanliness. And when people come to collect and clean up and separate and organize the people who feel with clutter and bullshit, they got a problem with it. But we coming, because now is the time to point out the real, the pure, and the fake, and the false, and the phony. Because when it comes to religion, they are out there. You got good and you got bad. When it comes to occults, you got good and you got bad. When it comes down to preachers, you got good and you got bad. Just like when it comes down to judges and police officers and gang members, you got good and you got bad. People who wake up from their bad experiences or their evil ways, they change. Good people who get caught up in evil communication, they change. So you got to be careful with the company that you keep and with the things that you speak. And when you see something that you can't unsee, act. Do not be a fool.